This is Yari Abubakar.
Alpha. Hello? Yeah, hello. Madam, how far? So I can make seriously ZAMFARA. Seriously, yeah, well, this National Good Governance Tour.
Teacher ratio of 17 to 1 teacher. That is 17 pupils to 1 teacher. It has adequate classroom facilities with necessary furniture that is provided by this government. Before the advent of this administration, the Honorable Minister, this school, you will not love to see it because every child in this school is sitting on the bare floor. No furniture either for the teachers, nor for the pupils. And the floors are broken, the roofs are blown, the windows are not there. It looks like a place where a hurricane has just passed. But from March 19th last year to this date, this is just the transformation that we are seeing in this school. And we have 50 of this type of schools that we have renovated within 1 year. You might say, okay, what about the rural areas? Equally, in the rural areas, we also paid attention to places where they need schools. So we constructed a total of 323 new blocks of 3 classrooms at a cost of 1.23 billion. And we also provided furniture for those new constructions at the cost of over 300 million. Distinguished Honorable Minister, we have also gone with time because we established 41 ICT centers in 41 locations of the schools, at least where there is light or for a start before we replicate to all other schools. In addition to this, the Honorable Minister will also provide water and toilet facilities for the schools. And apart from that, the Honorable Minister, there is one key important thing that concerns us. That is about the training of teachers. So each year we used to have funds where we train teachers. And in most cases, we do the training in the existing schools, causing 2 problems. One, the teacher that is coming for the training has been displaced. And
what's happening?
Where training is taking place. So distinguished Honorable Minister, this administration sat and came up with a strategy that let us have a teacher training and development center. So we established a teacher training and development center at Gusau with all the facilities, accommodation for 100 participants at a time, a restaurant, an ICT center, classroom blocks, and even accommodation for research persons. You are going to see that center on Sunday, the Honorable Minister. So this administration has done a lot in terms of education. We accessed our UBEC grant for 2010 and 2011 at the same time. And apart from the UBEC grant that we received from the federal government, plus our own matching grant of over 1.5 billion, the state government also gave us an additional funding of 2 billion. So the story is so long. So these schools that you are seeing, just like this one, we have 50 of this type of schools in the local government headquarters. And we have 323 stand-alone 1 block of 3 classroom office furnished across the state. This year we are planning to now go further so that for those schools in the township which we have not covered, we will complete, and then for those of the other areas also will complete. But Mr. might say, how do you come about this? The Honorable Minister, His Excellency, appointed a higher power team of professors of ZAMFARA State Indigen from Sokoto University, from the University of Bayero University, Kano, and Ahmadu Bello University to come home and look in depth into the problems of primary education and come up with a solution. So that study gave birth to this development that His Excellency has embarked upon. We have a report here that we'll share with you and some of your men, the report of that committee which now gives of direction. So as I'm speaking with you now, I can tell you with certainty how many teachers we have, how many of them are qualified, how many are unqualified, who is where at what time, and where do we need next structure, and where do we need additional blocks because the population of pupils are so and so. So we have now, if you like, a Bible as to compendium of problems and prospects of primary education. So this committee was inaugurated by the governor. It submitted a report which I'm going to share with you now, and then this is the outcome. And this way we'll continue until we cover all this, inshallah, within the first tenure of this government, not after. So that after the first tenure of this government, we'll now be talking about facilities, supporting facilities, other infrastructures that are needed and key to primary education. And of course, further training and training. And let me add, before I forget, Honorable Minister, there's an area that's also very important. That is the area of special education. Honorable Minister, we have a center for schools for the children with disabilities in Gusau. And this center was established some 5 years ago. So when we came in, we realized that there is a school, there are students, but there are no teachers. So what we did, Honorable Minister, was to send a team to Primary College Education, Oyo Special, which specializes in training of teachers for special education. And we sent 20 of our citizens to that school. By next year, they will be graduating from that institution with different forms of qualification. So these are some of the things that we are doing, which we welcome you to come and see for yourself. And then, my name is Honorable Murtala Adamu Mutawallan Jangebe, Executive Chairman, Universal Basic Education Board, ZAMFARA State, and the Dean of Subeb for the Northwest Zone, and the Chairman who was awarded last year as the most innovative Chairman in the Northwest Zone, and also the Chairman who was awarded by the Federal Institution for Research and Technology Development that our work plan and our approach to primary education is the best in the country. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for information. Honorable Minister for State Works and Honorable Minister for Environment. We're in Anka Nizamia Primary School. As already said by the Honorable Chairman, this school was established in 1967. And when we came in, there's a series of issues in terms of basic education. And if we did not address this problem, so the total education has complete lapse. Because if you left the basic education, then you left the total foundation. So therefore, I decided to invite the concerned citizens in terms of education. I invited them from, as I said, from the University of Sokoto, BUK, ABU, and other institutions, that they should come and give their own quota, so that they went round each and every corner of this state. They came off with a working plan. Before that, Honorable Minister, may interest you. Immediately, I was announced that the governor of ZAMFARA State, before even getting to the office, the first place I visited was the Universal Basic Education Commission. I met with the Executive Secretary, Modibo, and he told me the situation of education in ZAMFARA State in particular, whereby he told me that the assessment of 2010 in terms of intake, ZAMFARA State is nearly 27-1 in the nation. So therefore, this is alarming. So I start thinking on how do we address. I asked him so many questions. He said, one, there's infrastructure development problem, and also there is a problem of qualified teachers. So how do we address it? From the report they had in their own capacity, what they established, they said we need to have a block of 1,000 blocks of 3 classrooms. If we can be able to shoulder with our sister state in Ebonyi and Edo respectively. So therefore, this project alone is a huge sum of money, but we started from somewhere. So therefore, we identified some key areas where we need to have that structure first and foremost. So that's why we initiated having about 300 posts in 2012, and in 2013 we are trying to have the same 300, and by the 2014 we'll be able to get the target achieved, so that we can be able to rub shoulder with our colleagues, our sister state in Ebonyi in terms of intake. And as you said, we not only concentrate on having the more infrastructure, but also we are concerned with the existing ones, because they are in total collapse. So when they brought the report, we sat down with them, we will come up with the plan, and this place is child of that plan, and we are hoping that by this year we do more, so we'll be able to catch up with some other sister states in the country. Environment. Minister of Environment around? Okay, it's not here. Well, she used to be a teacher and a proprietress, so I thought maybe she would offer some ideas. Well, Your Excellency, the Governor of ZAMFARA State, the Chairman, ZAMFARA Universal Basic Education Board, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's my colleague, Minister of State Works. See here? Okay. Now, Your Excellency, let me, on behalf of the National Good Governance Tour, appreciate what we're seeing here. This school looks transformed, definitely, because all the structures have been changed and the environment is looking more conducive for learning. The major problem of education in the country is primary education. When the president was elected in 2011, the first thing he did was to do a special retreat on education in the country. State governors were there. A special retreat to tackle education in Nigeria. That's what the president did. He said, as a teacher, he's not happy when everywhere we go they say standards are low. And standards shouldn't be low, because Nigeria was used to very high standards in the 60s and 70s. Public schools, we're not talking of private schools. So the president did that. Then there was a report that was presented to the National Economic Council, where all the governors were also represented, about what we must do to improve quality of education in Nigeria. That report brought a roadmap. It spoke about access, really making money available to states throughout the country. Some states have not accessed their money because they are not ready to pay for their own counterpart funds. So their monies have been lying down there at the universal basic education, when in their states they don't have conducive primary education classrooms and furniture. Now I'm happy that in your state, you didn't only access your money, you have also given additional money for primary education from other sources. Now, when you have a problem, you have to first investigate what that problem is. So you have set up a committee that has given you a roadmap for revamping primary education in ZAMFARA State. So in addition to what the federal government has done, you are also testing it here in ZAMFARA. Now, in the north particularly, we have 9.5 million children on the streets doing Quranic education. 9.5 million children in northern Nigeria, more than the population of 2-3 West African countries put together. They are just roaming the streets. They do Quranic education, they don't have any basic education training. Now the president in 2011 said this situation cannot continue, because there is this committee of some countries with the highest level of school children without regular education, and Nigeria is one of them, Pakistan and several other countries. And everywhere we go, people keep talking about Nigeria. So the president promised in 2011 that he will tackle the problem of these 9.5 million children in the north. And he has come up with special integrated Al-Majri schools. I hope we'll see those ones that are being built in ZAMFARA before we go. Now I'm mentioning this because this is Islamia Primary School. This was one of the issues of integrating Quranic education with modern education. But somehow all over the north,
the Islamia primary education became simply a token. And so we left our children on the streets. Now for every child you see on the road, maybe that is the child that has the formula that would solve the problem of this country. It's not only children from elite family like us. Don't forget we are also from the grassroots. God brought us up to be leaders. So we must not forget any child, because if we were forgotten, because we come from poor parents in villages, if we were forgotten, maybe we will not be those standing here now. So you can see God can raise anybody's child. So the duty of government is to make sure no child is left behind, and that is what the federal government and state government have agreed to do. Now, part of this tour is to see how states are implementing these agreed policies. Now, we have built nearly 100 Almajiri schools already in northern Nigeria, complete. We visited the one in Kebbi. We will see the ones in ZAMFARA. Please, Your Excellency, in addition to this beautiful job you are doing here, we want to see that between now and 2015, there will be no child roaming the street during school hours anywhere in the north. This is very, very important. If the north is to catch up with the rest of the country, education is #1 priority. Education, 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 #1 priority. And the most important aspect of education is primary education. Why we are having poor quality at secondary and universities, because the primary schools are not delivering good people. When we were in primary school, you remember, public school, not government. Before you are in class 2, you read fluently and you are numerate, you are literate. The problem is poor teaching, poor supervision, poor administration of schools. You will see this private school, look at the one we saw there like a cubicle. You go there now, the children will be reading, while the children in these beautiful schools will not, because the headmasters, the school teachers are not, there is no discipline, there is no proper administration. My advice is, Ibek, I don't know what is in this report, I have not read it, but made of professors, I know they would have tackled this problem. The greatest difficulty of public education is lack of infrastructure and complete collapse of discipline and commitment by teachers and staff. We receive our salaries, we are not ready to commit ourselves. Private primary school, they have less qualified teachers. But their owners will make sure that every teacher there is doing his job. Here we have better teachers who are better trained on paper, and we pay them more in public schools. But why should our standard be lower than private schools? Our standard should be higher, because we are paying teachers higher, and we have more teachers, and we have better schools. Therefore, the #1 duty we have all over the country is to make sure that in every state, governors must sit local government chairmen down, sit education secretaries down, call headmasters to special meetings where we must agree on a code of conduct for everybody to deliver. I say so because I grew up as a primary school teacher. I was trained as a grade 2 teacher. And I know that there is no reason for any teacher to come to school without lesson notes for the week that are marked and apparatuses for teaching. So we have a lot of work to do. So infrastructure, congratulations, because at least if you do this all around, let's first create the environment so there will be no excuses. Because before now they say, well, there is no desk, there is no classroom. Now, let us tackle the problem of infrastructure the way you are doing it now, and it's being done in many of the states. After that, the question of school administration, school discipline, school supervision is what is going to deliver public education, not only in ZAMFARA, but all over Nigeria. So the North were behind, but I believe that the time has come for every governor in the North to sit up and face primary education squarely. Primary education is almost on the exclusive list for local government and states and the private sector. But without it, we can't succeed. So, Your Excellency, there is no amount of money you will spend here that is too much. I want to complain, because those of us who are rural people, don't make it look like until you finish satisfying those in the city, the rural schools will not have equal attention. I would like to see that as you do example of completed schools in the cities, also make sure that in the rural areas we have schools that are also looking like this, so that the children at the grassroots, please, very important, share it between rural and urban centers, so that the children at the grassroots will also have access to this kind of infrastructure. So good, let's keep promoting education, because that is the formula for development. Thank you very much indeed.
Effort of the state at accelerating universal basic education. I've been around most of the classes, and I've seen that the classroom furniture are very good. But taking a look at the staff room, when we talk of infrastructure, I think the administrators should equally have very good furniture. The furniture of the staff room, the male staff room over there, is decrepit. And I think the state should do something about that. Two, we went to some projects yesterday, inspected some schools, and I discovered that some roofs were blown off. I think beyond exhausting resources in renovating and repairing, we should ensure that our projects, when they are being executed, are up to standard. And we are very much aware that there are strong winds here in the north. The Minister of Environment is not here, but I think something needs to be done about tree planting as wind breaks around the schools, so that the roofs will not be torn off like that, and we won't spend too much of our resources on repairs and renovation. Thank you very much. Yes. Okay. Okay, let me take the comment.
My question is actually, with all of these improvement and the structures, facilities, and equipments that is pupils and students need, has there been an improvement in the performance of the students and the teachers? Thank you. Good afternoon.
When we set out to address these problems of primary education in terms of infrastructure, we have a plan. And this plan, we take it this way. Let me give you an example. In each class, there is supposed to be furniture for the pupils and a desk for the teacher. The objective of doing that is to keep the teacher in the class. So in all the classes here, every class has a teacher's table where after he teaches, he also supervises the behavior of the students. Equally, in the staff room, we have some teachers' tables that they use in the past, but the plan is let there be enough furniture for each pupil and for each teacher, because every teacher is supposed to be in a particular class. That's the approach we need. So that's why you see that maybe you are seeing all the furniture, but if you go to classes, you see in each class there is a teacher's table and chair, and that's where we expect the teacher to be. It's just like a nurse. We're expected the nurse to be at the ward by the side of the patient. So that's what we do. Yes, on the issue of windbreak, you see, we have gone over time. If you look at these houses belong to these schools. Yes, people, encroach into our schools. And sometimes it's very difficult after a long time to just displace them like that. And in fact, yes, that's one of the problem that we have. So what we try to do is to ensure that now the available space is even secured. And that's why you see this school has been fenced. Before now, it has not been fenced. So probably this neighbor here will have put up a structure. Yes. So it's like that. We are appreciative of that problem that we don't have enough spaces, especially at the urban schools, where the space is constrained, you cannot expand. And in some cases, let me give you an example. There's a school I and the governor visited in Gusau. That school is right inside Gusau. There are 250 pupils per one class. So even if you go up, you go vertical, that is making the classes double by going up. You cannot solve the problem because 200 pupils per class, you have about maybe 5-6 story buildings by each class to solve that problem. So these things we appreciate, and I'm sure we are one of the states that even have a place to play maybe badminton, whatever, and so on and so forth. So we are attending to that problem, but let us start with the basics. When the class is not there, when the furniture is not there, when the teacher's table is not there, nothing is there. So you have to choose what to do. You have to prioritize. So in our priority, we said, okay, let us get the school back into shape. Let the furniture be there. Let the teacher be able to teach. Then later we can be thinking about other variables that are so important to learning. Without this thing. Then about the performance of teachers. Yes, you see, pupils and teachers. Earlier on, we told you that we did an assessment with the professors. And believe me, that report is a basic truth. Because the report is showing signal light on our faces That is how dirty the wardrobe is. This is the condition of the teacher. There are some teachers, let me tell you very sincerely, they are not supposed to be somewhere around here, except if they are coming to learn, because they are not teachers. But then we have so many of them. So do you just in one day say, okay, all the 6,000 teachers just go? If they go, why do you get immediate replacement? So it is in view of that say, okay, let us come up with a plan that we can systematically be developing these teachers over time, so that those of them that can cope will retain, and those that we know that cannot cope, we ask them to go. That's why we established the Teacher Training and Development Center in Gusau, which you'll see. And that center is not just for you to come and learn and go. No, it's meant to accommodate you for months, with a restaurant, with an ICT center, with everything, so that you can now develop and up the skill of that individual teacher or teachers. So that's why we are doing a lot. We have an assessment from UBEC, which they do, which they call NALABE. NALABE is Learning Achievement Study, to find out how much of the basic education curriculum is being learned by the pupils. And the outcome of the result all over the country is very gloomy. So conscious of that, we say, okay, let us now begin to map out strategies. At the moment, I'm sure maybe the governor may have told you, we are planning to recruit 2,000 teachers. We are not just recruiting. We are not just recruiting, no. We will test, we will interview, and then we'll select the best. So not just recruitment for the sake of recruitment. So we are doing all that we could to ensure that we ensure good learning outcomes on the part of the pupils. I think the last question was on what? Windbreak? No, windbreak. So what we did was to do this. First, independently, I went and approached the British Council, because they have a training on English teachers, which they call TKT, Teaching Knowledge Test. And there's another one on CLE, that is teaching you how to teach all subjects. We approached them, they say they have a regulation between intervention and some states. So ZAMFARA is not of there. I said, look, this is our problem, come and assist us. So this year, British Council undertook training in some state only in TKT. But we said, no, we need more than TKT. And we trained 320 teachers, 420 teachers, 210 on TKT, 210 on CLE. There is another development. There is a program that they call SIMASE, Strengthening of Mathematics and Science Education, which they do in Kaduna along with the Japanese government. I met SIMASE myself. They say, no, they have a relationship with some state, Kaduna, Plateau, blah, blah. I said, please, we want to crash into that program. And they gave us opportunity to say, okay, they have their cohort, so we can send in our participants. So we selected 12 participants for the cohort on SIMASE. And do you know how we select them? We asked every local government secretary to give us best 10 science and mathematics teachers. When they brought them, we took them to College Education Sokoto and we subjected them to test. And believe me, the limit that we set, we get only that 12. So those 12 we sent to Kaduna for training for 2 weeks. I had a visit, specific visit from the coordinator of SIMASE, Mr. Digi, to my office. He said they were proud of what we do because that's the only state that do selection on the basis of performance of participants. And that's why this year's training, it is those participants that train our teachers on SIMASE at the training center. Again, we also approach the SPIN. We say we want to collaborate. You are doing so many things in Lagos, in Kaduna, but you are not here. So SPIN did not come to our head at the moment. But then we approach all other institutions, and what we did, we don't just teach teacher for teaching sex. We teach English teachers on how best to teach English, science teachers on how best to teach sciences. And then we did a cluster along with Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto, College of Education Maru, and the Federal College of Education Tekala Gusau. So those other teachers who are below, we say, okay, go and meet them at their respective schools. So in this local government, in this very school, we brought in 100 teachers on that cluster system, participatory training, so that you teach, your colleagues assess you, they critique you, you respond, and that way we train over 1,400, because we have 100 for each of the local government. So we are doing so much so that we get the best for our peoples. Let me tell you a story, sir, the distinguished Mr. Short one. Before my appointment, Governor, His Excellency will recall we signed a covenant that if we receive 4 billion, for instance, from the pension account, how much of that 4 billion will go to the next village that you see as you go by the road? Not by the road, that is into the hinterland. And we agree that nothing probably no road, no hospital, no water, no nothing. So His Excellency asked me, what do you do as a society? The only thing that we can give them a share of that 4 billion is to provide education to the pupils of that village. Train the teacher, build the school, they have gotten their own share, at least at that moment. And that's why we never waver. For education, we'll do the best that we can to put our children at par with any child, not only in the country, but even abroad. We have even sent teachers to go to Kenya to learn on the JICA's Master program. One of the teachers went to Kenya this year. So thank you very much, distinguished.
Well, let me reveal that there's another program now. You better catch this one before others go ahead of you. Eh? No. Discovery. The Discovery channel that you see is setting up a big center for education West Africa. And it is based here in Nigeria. So if you go early, that will help you to enroll. So all the experiences you see in the wilderness, they will bring you to the classroom. It's very, very wonderful program. Yeah. So let's see 1 or 2 classes.